All right, here's our setup on how we initially train our pigs to electric fence before putting them outside. So this is I think it's 10 foot by 16 foot animal pen. It's multi-purpose, but it's a 10 by 16. We got a foot or two of wood chips in here already. We got 6 Idaho pasture pigs. This is fewer than we've had before. I think our first year we raised 8 GOS pigs with a Hereford mix. Last year we raised 13. And this year we decided we weren't going to raise that many this year. We're going with 6. And I think we'll have better luck with that. But here's how we do it. I think Premier One actually makes like a short fence as like a trainer fence. We don't have that. Premier One, if you see this, hey, yeah, send it on up here. But we just take, this is a 100-foot fence, and we just take it back and forth multiple times. We have to tie it up to the sides, and I've already had a fiddle with it on the bottom. It was snapping, and it does get difficult to keep it off the ground and keep it from grounding. But we have it plugged in to an outlet right now. So these pigs will stay in here, I don't know, a couple weeks, something thereabout. But as soon as we feel comfortable with them going outside, we will get them outside. We want them on pasture and out in the woods as soon as possible. But I want to keep them on my property. Therefore, we train them to the electric fence, and then we move them from there and hope that we did a good job and we don't have any issues. We have one of the water barrels, just like we use out in the woods. And it looks like it might have a really slow drip. I'm just seeing that. I'm not going to worry if it's a really slow drip, but I'll probably have to go back and fix that later. But one of the brass bulkheads for the water works really well. We've used them now. This is our 3rd year. I really like those. And then we just got a little bit of feed in here right now. This isn't all the feed they're going to need. We just got them out of the truck literally 30 minutes ago. So they're just getting settled in. They're still a little bit nervous of me. But let me see if I can zoom in. Their faces, we've raised pigs before, but their faces are a little... Look at that face. It's kind of ugly, but kind of cute. I don't know how to describe it. Look at that one. The Idaho pasture pigs, their noses are more scrunched and their ears are more pointy. But they're kind of goofy looking, but they're also cute. I don't know. I don't know. They're kind of silly. But they just took a little over a 2-hour drive. Yeah, they just took a little over a 2-hour drive getting here. And I know they are nervous. So there's a good side profile. See the nose? The Idaho pasture it's just a different type of nose. And then look who's all curious. Say, Duke. He is like, what is in there? There you go. There's a good picture of Duke. He's our Great Pyrenees lab. Duke, you're good. Now, I will say, Duke, when the pigs have gotten out before, in the past, not this bunch, but in the past, if they've gotten out of the pen, he really, he almost plays with them. He's not aggressive towards them at all. It's more playing than anything. I've never seen him go after any of the pigs, aggressively. But going back to Idaho pasture, this is new to us. These 2 orange ones are over here, cute, just laying down. I'm zooming in because if I step closer to them right now where they're not used to me, they run away, and I want them staying calm. So, like I said, we got 2 that are kind of orangish. I guess that's the best way to put them. 2 that are kind of like that one right there with the black and white, more black, but some white specks and spots in there. And then 2 that are more like this one that are more black with just a little bit of stripes of white on them. So kind of a pair of each of those. And sorry about the lighting in here. I don't have a light in the stall yet. I kept thinking I was going to put one in the stall, but I haven't done it yet. And the main lights to the barn kind of get blocked out in here. And then the natural light coming from the doors gives it a kind of messes with the lighting on this foam. But anyway, we'll keep them in here. Like I said, we'll keep them in here for about 2 weeks. Let them get used to the fence. We want them to associate that fence with getting shocked. Now, I don't want them hurt. I don't want them getting shocked. So the sooner they learn that that's their boundary, that's if they try to go through that, it's going to shock them. The sooner they learn that, the better, because I don't want them getting shocked. I enjoy pigs. They're a lot of fun to me, except for when they get out. And I don't want them getting out. I want them to get trained to this well. The way we did it last year, actually the way we've done it the last couple of years, we do it in transitions. So we'll start here for roughly 2 weeks where they can't really get out. You know, I guess if they chewed through the wood, they could. And like I said, we put a board across here that's solid so they can't see that gap. I'll have to put it back when I step out of here. But we train them for 2 weeks with this electric netting. Once again, that's Premier One pig fence or pig netting. It's a 100-foot section. And then we will move them somewhere close to outside in the hayfield, like right outside my office window, where when I'm working during the day, I can kind of keep an eye on them and make sure that, you know, they're not getting out. Once they're there for, I think last year we went about 10 to 14 days. Once we were comfortable with them there, then we moved them again back to the woods. And the reason why we do that slow transition is because once they're back in the woods, we can't see them where they're at in the woods from our house. You can see the trees, you can see the area they're at, but you can't see them specifically. So we want to be really careful with that. We don't want them to get out and us not know it and have a lot of issues with that. So that's kind of our system. You know, it's worked with the exception of last year. If you've watched any of our previous videos, last year we had one hog. I believe it was the Hampshire last year. It kept testing the fence all year long. And if I had realized just how much of a headache that hog was going to cause us, I would have gotten rid of it right away. All the other hogs seemed to be pretty calm, relaxed. They moved when we wanted them to move because we move them every 10 days on average. Sooner, if it rains and it's really muddy, we move them sooner. But once again, it's like a management intensive grazing system. We move them as is needed for the ground. But that one hog's really the only hog we've had issue with in our few years doing this. But that one hog caused a lot of issues last year because when it would bust out, the others would all see it out and then they would all go. Plus, it was busting holes through the Premier One netting. And I've never seen that before. It was hitting the netting so fast that it was fraying the line. It was just like blowing, like there'd be a hole in it. That one hog just gave us absolute fits. I was so happy to get that thing off our property. But in hindsight, I should have gotten rid of it like first month or two we had it. I should have just said, that's it. I'm just going to sell this thing. He was probably meant to be in a barn all the time, not rotationally grazed. Our system, our management technique was not a good fit for that hog. So these Idaho pasture, a couple of things about them, and they're still new to me. So I'm still learning this breed. They are slightly slower growing, but in about 10 months, we can get them to market weight from birth to process. And then they eat a little bit more of the grass. They still root. They will still root in the dirt, but they don't do it quite as much as your normal Hampshire, Yorkshires, Duroc. List keeps going. They don't root as much. I don't know why. If somebody knows why, put that in the comments. I truthfully, I don't know why. I know they've been bred to be more on pasture, but I don't know why it is that they, I guess it's just the genetics. I don't know. It's curious. But if you know the answer, throw it in the comments. But I'm looking forward to it. The other thing, I love the pigs. They're cute and they're fun, and I enjoy while we've got them on the property. But Idaho pasture pigs do, from what I hear, have really quality meat, really good flavor, and that's important to us. So that's part of the reasons why. Also, historically, they have a little bit of a docile, calmer temperament. And if you watched one of my previous videos on our cattle that we just got Dexter cattle for a lot of the same reasons. We wanted to go with something that was a little bit historically more docile. Now, any of these animals can keep you up at night and cause you all kinds of issues. But historically, both of these, the Idaho pasture pigs and then the Dexter cattle, have a little bit of a calmer temperament. They have really high meat quality, and we really like the combination of those two things. We interact with our animals every single day. We move them so frequently. The pigs don't move as often as the sheep and the goats and the cows and the chickens, but they still move frequently. So, I want an animal that's calm, that doesn't get too rambunctious and wreak havoc on our property. We're still dealing with issues in our hayfield from where the pigs got out for hours and we didn't know they were out, and they had rooted up all kinds of ground. Our hayfield, a section of it needs completely redone because of them just terrorizing our field. It was muddy when it happened. It was super muddy when it happened, and they just it looks like a plow went through it. It's awful. What my dad calls a pig is a one-nose plow. Like he was a pig farmer. But yeah. Anyway, I'm liking them right now. They're exhausted, and I try not to be too traumatic with them. But I'm happy to be in here. Let them get used to me. They're not going at the fence anymore. They're all kind of sleeping. See, they're all laying down. It's kind of like they're all taking a nap. I like them. Plus, as my wife said, they're kind of chunky. They're a little bit like me. They're a little chunky. And I like that on the pigs. But anyway, you all have a good one. Thanks for watching. And like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I love the comments. See you all next time.